Okay, so he's saying that this was a misunderstanding about strong arming and threats, I guess, by extension. That he was excited to talk about it and maybe didn't convey it properly. Which I guess? But Panda said that they were aware of a way that Alan conducted himself that was unprofessional and not good. That doesn't sound like a misunderstanding. If it was a misunderstanding, I feel like Panda would have been much more on that train of, no, Alan never meant anything by this, it was a misunderstanding. I feel like they would have defended that as opposed to just run with it. Like, yeah, we know Alan did something bad. And then, like, be dismissive. But they acknowledged it, right? But if it was a misunderstanding, I feel like they would have just said, like, no, this was a misunderstanding. I guess maybe at that point, like, the Panda PR team wasn't talking with Alan, so I'm trying to give, like, a really charitable interpretation of it, because he's saying something very different than what Panda themselves was saying with that. Thanks to the Prime Cat and Wolf. Panda just admitted what we wanted to hear, but they didn't, though, because their first response was like being dismissive of it, which is why it was so poorly received. If they just wanted to say everything that the community wanted to hear, they would have immediately said, like, we are investigating these things. Alan is temporarily put on leave while we go through this situation and shit like that, but they didn't. They acknowledged it and then just kind of were very dismissive. Thanks to the gift sub blammo. Where's the... oh, he didn't transcribe this one. Fuck. So this is a montage of, like, his communications with other TOs where he doesn't mention, like, disappointment for not joining or, like, trying to scare them into joining. Genesis, Lowtide, Shine, and Riptide were all licensed by Nintendo? Wait, what? Genesis has been licensed for every one of their events since Genesis 3? Like an officially licensed tournament? What? That's news to me. I had no idea about that. It's a different kind of license. Well, what's the difference? Why is the Smash community the hardest community to get straight information from? I have no fucking clue. And it doesn't help that Nintendo is also terrible at giving any kind of straight information at all. Fucking awful. So they got explicit permission from Nintendo. So was it like a Nintendo partnered event? Or did they just get like the official blessing? I'm assuming it just had to be like the blessing, right? It's not like to the same degree Panda was. It's not like Nintendo and Genesis are... they work together. Okay, so they just got the blessing. Okay, that makes a little more sense. I guess when I hear license, I think of what Panda does with Nintendo, where it's like a one like a one-on-one, like we work together hand in hand kind of deal. But this is just Nintendo giving it the nod of approval officially, as opposed to just like a wink wink kind of thing. Okay. Thanks for the resub, JMac. Yeah, no, I didn't do any speedruns of Hello Neighbor tonight. I did Warhammer Dark Tide, which was good so far. I've only done like one mission, but it seems pretty cool. Okay, so it's talking about who hasn't signed and them not gonna be like threatening them to join or anything. So this is talking about how great the deal was and how it'd take like a big burden off their plate. I would be very inclined to believe this statement. We get 10% of a much bigger pie. We don't want the full pie. If he wasn't asking for exclusivity, though, right? He still hasn't explained why it was exclusive because it's redacted information in here. I guess that's like a super secret thing. But there'd have to be like a really good reason for it to be exclusive because that's like the exact opposite of we don't want the full pie. Genesis said they were officially partnered with Nintendo in 2017. Oh. Well, that's interesting. I had no clue about that being an official thing. He said it was Nintendo that wanted it redacted, which is unlucky because it'd be really helpful to know what the exclusivity was for then if it wasn't for like a large portion of the community to be under the same umbrella. Which would be the full pie, as opposed to 10% of a bigger pie where everyone's growing. Thanks, Arisa Blue. Big question we get all the time is what is Nintendo providing that makes the partnership worth it? I don't even care what he says going forward. What are they providing? Fucking nothing. Them just being there in an official capacity is more than they've ever done, and it takes a big headache away of like, will this get shut down by Nintendo? Maybe they do more than that, but all they need to do is just like sign off on it. Like that's all they've ever had to do is just sign off on it, and if they like it, man, maybe even put like some money and like prizes behind it or some shit. But literally just signing off on it's the main draw why everyone wants like a Nintendo license or partnership. So they don't have to fear getting shut down. I hope he addresses their reasoning of not giving the Smash World Tour license being health and safety related. I'd really like more insight on why that decision would be getting made, but I guess Alan might not be the one to clarify it. Again, I would just like to know why the exclusivity then. All of this sounds great. Like all of this up in here, like that sounds great and it makes complete sense. But with the exclusivity thing and like wanting them to join the Panda Cup exclusively with all of the rights and everything, that again just seems like the whole pie. It's a real shame Nintendo isn't letting him explain that part because maybe there's like an actual decent reason for it. The finale. Talking about how lit the finale would have been. Would have had arcade games, a carnival section, blackjack, hookers, gotcha machines, and crane games. God damn. And completely free. Woof. Jesus Christ. Okay, so yeah, I guess he doesn't have information on why Nintendo cited health and safety concerns for not giving the license to the Smash World Tour. Like it's just hard to put a lot of stake in this. Like it all does sound amazing, but the facts still remain. In writing, Smash World Tour received notice that Nintendo would not license them, and this was through their conversations, the time of unlicensed events is now gone. So, like, even though all of this sounds great, this whole thing about, like, we're doing this because we want everyone to be able to do Smash events, even if it's not with us, the freedom of Smash events, like, it clearly, like, there's a disconnect there between him and what Nintendo's actually doing, which I guess isn't really his fault. Like, he's not the one making Nintendo do that shit. I have no clue, Laszlo. Thanks, Risa Bryson and Soul. True. Esports is an industry that's just always losing money, and they take from venture capital. That is legitimately like every single esports org out there. This is not a really good summation. Like his points that he made, like I don't think they were terrible points or anything, but this is a terrible breakdown of it. Smash World Tour stood to gain nothing. Like I think Alan is just blatantly wrong about that. All they stood to lose from, or all they stood from this situation, like the outcome, is complete net loss across the board. Loss of faith from Nintendo, so I don't think the VGBC will ever be getting a license from Nintendo after all of this. That will just never happen. They lost the biggest event of the year for them, which is where they'd make the most money for the $250,000 circuit they put on. So they lost a ton of money on that, a ton of money on putting it all together. Like, all of it was a net loss for them. They had nothing to gain. Absolutely nothing to gain. So to say that it was the Smash World Tour gambit and say, like, it was all to try and make themselves the hero for more community eyes is, I think that's a terrible angle to take. Like, the points he was making, of course, aren't provable points because there was no evidence, except for, like, notes he took during conversations. But, like, the points, I think, aren't horrible that he tried to make. But this, like, the reasoning for it, I think is way off. Like, I think that's silly. Even if he wants to take it from a sponsorship angle, that still doesn't compute. Because the sponsors that are in the Smash scene right now have been in the Smash scene for, like, years now. So it's not like they're even getting new sponsors or wanting new sponsors. And it's not like the sponsors that were sponsoring Panda Cup are going to go to fucking VGBC now after this blow up. They just won't come back. So again, it's just another net loss where VGBC will never get those sponsors or anything. Thanks to resub, Smooth and Tier 1 Blammo. I don't know how you get that takeaway though. Abungi. VGBC looks very bad if this is all true because it looks like they were leveraging their place in the public eye to pressure Nintendo. But that would make sense if they did this before getting canceled. Like if they did this months ago, like while they were still fighting for that license, then I would completely agree with the motivation. Like, okay, they're trying to strong-arm Nintendo to force them with public pressure to give them a license. But they had already been declined not only for this year, but for next year, which they didn't even apply for, and they still got declined. So they had only released all of this after they got declined. So there was nothing they could gain from it. There was no public pressure that would get the license back. They had already got the no for an entire 2 years. So they just had nothing to gain from this whole situation. Like you can't, they couldn't pressure them to do it when the decision was already made. But I would agree, if this had happened earlier, that would be a completely rational reasoning. Their sponsors were contingent on Nintendo sponsoring them. Has that been proven? That would be a big thing. Oh, if I had to guess. Oh. Yeah, that would make sense, I guess. Like, after they got declined, then they would have lost their sponsors, lost their money, so thus they needed to make this big song and dance out of it. If that could be proven, that would make sense. Then yeah, then that whole situation would then unfold and look really bad for VGBC. But that's just speculation. All of it is. Easy tier 1-6. But for the entire, Jesus Christ, however long VGBC's been around now, they don't have any kind of history of doing anything manipulative like this. They have like the most goodwill in the community and always have. Like, it doesn't sound like that'd be some kind of galaxy brain plan they would have come up with in order to fuck everyone. That just doesn't make sense. Thanks to resub CJax. Besides Project M. Oh, I guess I don't know that whole situation. Thanks to resub Pegasus. VGBC tried to gain something in place where there was nothing to gain. What did they try to gain, though? Again, like, I haven't heard an answer that makes sense here of what they tried to gain. All they did was lose. Like, I don't understand. That's a question to the guy that just said that. What did they try to gain? PR. How does that help them when they lost all this money? How is that PR helpful? They're going to have the same amount of eyes on their content as they always have. They had no money left to run the event. Well, even still, then they have nothing to gain. But yeah, if all of the sponsors were contingent on the Nintendo license, then yeah, that would then make sense for all of this to happen. Or why they would do that. They gained the destruction of one of their competitors. I think everyone still has this really bastardized idea of how this ecosystem has worked, at least as I understand it. Even in Alan's statement, he's talking about how he always wanted to symbiotically work with the community. That's been the norm in the Smash scene. Since it's all grassroots, everyone succeeds together or they all fail together. Like, it's not... I've never seen them viewing each other as competition where they want others to fail. Because it helps them when they don't fail. Like, when Panda was doing well, VGBC was doing well. BTS was doing well. When one of them was struggling, the other two then start struggling. Like, they all needed to work together. It was always ride or die. Like, it's not... Oh, do you hear that? Oh, I was just making motions with my hands on the table. I don't know why you can't even see my hands, but yeah. Like, there was just nothing to gain. The eyes are the same. The attention of the community is the same. They already failed and then tried to pin it on Alan to cover. Based on what? Again, that's just pure speculation. Not even Alan makes that claim. I think the most important thing Like, again, all of this is hearsay. Like, there's no hard proof of anything from either side except from Smash World Tour with their side from Nintendo. They do have all of those receipts. Like, they do have that. That is all hard evidence. Everything else is hearsay at the end of the day. But the two big things here is in Smash World Tour's statement as well as what LD posted, there's nothing that's been factually proven incorrect. In Alan's statement, there are two factually just blatantly wrong things that he says that are provably incorrect. And one of them's huge because it's what he put as like the linchpin of his statement of Smash World Tour maybe being a gambit. It's where he said, where was it? Oh, it was right over in here. I'll just control F. What? Where was it? Oh, here it is. I've been recently informed the main hotel in San Antonio listed in the Smash World Tour Discord did not have any pre-existing block or any expectation of large groups this weekend. There was no block canceled. It simply never existed. That is provably incorrect. Provably wrong. That is just incorrect. That is a false statement. Top to bottom. Travel stipends for players does not equal hotel block. I think this is pretty solid. Like, everything was booked up, as I understand it. From the thread here, from the people confirming on their side, that all of it was a go. But I guess, yeah, maybe the number one way to do it would be just go straight to the hotel. Look at LD's tweet. Where does it start? Is this just more speculation? Yeah, this is him speculating on how all of this may have unfolded, which is exactly the same thing Alan did. The same thing every side is doing. Yep. So no hard evidence from anything here. It's all just speculation. Thanks, resub Caliborn and Epstein and 5 large fries. What do you mean, Bungie? It's not like they just didn't bother to get Nintendo sign off. They were actively trying for the better part of what was it, like 2 years? And being strung along by Nintendo. Like, Nintendo had plenty of chances to just say, like, we're not interested right now in order to stop the Smash World Tour, but they didn't. They kept stringing it along until the very, very last minute. Like, it's not like they just wanted to do it unlicensed. They tried from the inception of it. Thanks to the resub Kita, Fruity, and the Prime Master Slim. Read Ken. We already went through all of Ken's logs, but again, taking notes of a verbal conversation is not evidence. That's not substantiated stuff. Like, you can say anything there and claim that you were taking notes during a conversation. It's what Alan's done here with his notes. Ken also took notes about it. Either side could be completely lying about what I actually said there as a way of having like a little bit of a weapon down the line should they ever need it. It was a transcript, no? A transcript he wrote. I could have like right now I could say the conversation you and I are having is you confessing to a crime and like, wow, user in chat said, oh my god, he buried the body underneath the pavement. Like, it's useless. Just because you say you're typing what happened, it's worthless unless it's like an unbiased third party that is transcribing it. It's about the dates. The dates don't matter. The dates are completely irrelevant to a typed up transcript that you are doing during this conversation. It would need to be an unbiased third party, because right now my date would check out. My date would absolutely check out. For example, the Flashing Rod 99. Well, I was just hanging out in chat and we were talking with Flashing Rod and he just started making these weird statements. Oh my god, he just made another weird statement 30 seconds later where, holy shit, he changed his grades in the school's computer system. I don't know what all of this means. Like, it's worthless. Like, the date would check out. I was looking at the Flashing Rod, but the information is useless. Like, I just don't put stock into this, like, I took notes during our conversation and this is the truth, because you can't prove it. Which is why it's just hearsay. It's a tier 1 Ja. It just proves they were talking about it back then. Oh, you're talking about Kin's tweet. Yeah, at the very least, his proves they were talking about Alan and his behavior all the way back in March. That is fair. I thought you were talking about the transcripts. That is a fair thing to say. Alan and Kin and LD were talking about Alan all the way back in March about what he was doing and how they didn't appreciate his behavior. That's fair. This is not claiming to be like a transcript of something that happened. This is just a conversation the two of them had in March. That's fair. And both sides have receipts that they were talking about it back then. Yeah, but on Alan's side, it's just him talking about like what isn't, like who isn't signed, who is signed, and like we did everything we could. We gave them as many carrots, but it wasn't enough. If they don't want to join, they don't want to join. Like his is just very matter of fact. Like, yes, we didn't get them, and here's how we responded back then, like internally. The first statement. What first statement? You talking about the very first thing up here? Because this is just his notes. Thanks, resub Ted. The date. But why does that date matter? This is Alan taking those notes. And, like, that's... Am I misunderstanding this? Wasn't this between him and... Who was it? That he clarified further down. This is just him relaying his notes. Or are you just saying, like, he was still talking about how things weren't great between them back then? If that's what you're saying, then that makes sense. Oh, you're just saying that he was talking about them back then. Oh, okay. Then yeah, you're just saying the same thing, like with Ken, but with Alan. Gotcha. Thanks, resub Ted, Fire, and the Prime Duckus. Exactly, they both hated each other back then. Yeah, that much is very clear. Which is why I find it weird that he made an entire song and dance out of like, why are they stonewalling me? Why aren't they replying? Well, it's because you didn't like them, they didn't like you, so they didn't want to work with you. Like, that's very clearly why they're not responding. That's not eye-opening, and that's not really a knock against them. Like, if they don't want to work with you because they didn't like how the conversations went, they're not going to work with you. It's just that simple. Thanks, resub Transowu and the Razzle Dazzle. Seems more sad than anything else. Well, it is more sad than anything else. This is a massive hit to the entire Smash tournament community. The Marriott website actually has a page for the Smash event booking. Oh, that would be such a dagger in his, like, actual really wild claim. Hold on. Let me bring it up here and look a little deeper. Alright, where? Where do you go to see that, Silver? At the very top. Oh, well, yeah, actually, it is literally called Smash World Tour Super Smash Con Fans and Family, yeah. How long did it take you to find this? Yeah, because this was absolutely booked. It is literally named after it. Yeah. So, again, that is just a blatantly wrong statement. It was the Genesis reply to Alan. Oh, Genesis replied to them about it. Like the actual Genesis? Oof. This too. What's this? The Techport Center, aka the venue website, had an event page for Smash World Tour as recently as November 27th. It's been removed sometime since. And then here's the cache. Yeah, so this is yikes. So it's just wrong then. Like his claim is just wrong. Thanks a gift sub, Dylan. Yeah, that was just unequivocally false. Which is a very bad thing. That's a huge lie to make. To claim that they may not have ever had intentions of fully running it. So no way. Wait, is this from one of the TOs of Genesis? Holy shit, this is actually from a TO of Genesis giving a character witness statement on Alan. This is, as I've just learned, Genesis is like an official licensed partner with Nintendo, or at least has been. Got some shit to say, not going into detail, but from the very first moment Alan opened his mouth to the last time we spoke, nothing but snake-like sounds could be heard, like that shit in Harry Potter. Parcel tongue, my man. It's called parcel tongue. That's aggressive. Again, this is all hearsay, but I think it's important to note, every TO so far has only had negative things to say about their interaction with Alan. There has not been a TO to come forward as like a positive character witness for Alan yet. Now, maybe that's because the public pendulum has swung against him and they might be a little fearful. That's very possible. But the sheer amount of very similar stories that these TOs are sharing about him is a little absurd. Like the volume. Like it seems like that'd be a hard thing for all of them to come together on as like a fuck this guy kind of thing. One thing for sure that was constantly reiterated in our calls was that Smash World Tour would be canceled, that Smash World Tour would be blacklisted, and that Gimmer was blacklisted, and it was only a matter of time before they were shut down because, trust me, I know. Trust me was a term he used a lot. He at one point called himself the savior of Smash on a call. This is a lot. Again, this is more just like hearsay. There's no evidence, but this is like the 9th or 10th TO to share very similar experiences. In one call, it was confirmed that he was to be the licensed broker for the whole scene. This has the potential to be really, really bad for everyone. That means eventually, if he wanted to, you would have to be part of the Panda Cup to get a license, one person having the keys. If that's true, that is a massive problem. Obviously for the reason he points out, but also if he just doesn't like you, he never has to grant you that license. And thus, if the time of unlicensed events is truly behind us, like Nintendo said in their call with Smash World Tour, if all of that's true, then that means you would not be able to run events without Alan's blessing as the license broker. Assuming, of course, this is all very, like, on-the-nose accurate shit. Can go on and on, but generally most of the shit he's saying in that 31-page garbage tweet is a lie. It's riddled with manipulative ways of speaking, and it's just more of what I expect of a guy who thinks he's the fucking savior of Smash. This is, I guess, an important perspective because he is the TO of a very big event that is also licensed by Nintendo and was not even mentioned in Alan's tweet or in Alan's statement. Thus, he was not put on the defensive. He didn't need to say anything. He wasn't forced to say anything. He's doing this because he felt so strongly about it with his own interaction. He had absolutely no stake in this other than just wanting to come out here and give his take on how he feels about it based on how he's talked with Alan. So this, I think, is a pretty big one. Thanks for the gift sub, Dylan, and Tier 1 Gideon. Thanks to the resub him, Soto. He's not the only TO for Genesis. It doesn't matter if he's the only TO for Genesis, though. He is a TO that has personal experience with Alan, apparently. And being a TO of Genesis is a big deal because he was not named in this at all. Like, that's still an important perspective. I don't know why you're writing it off. TO is tournament organizer. Bobak is an OG. I believe him with my life. Yeah, a lot of people in chat were saying Bobak has a lot of goodwill in the community and has been a really powerful TO for a long time in terms of the good he's done for the scene. So this is a statement that does have quite a bit of weight to it. Here's the other main TO for Genesis statement. Damn, everyone's coming forward with statements now. I mean, this was a bombshell from Alan. Even though there was no evidence, it was still a very huge thing for the community. Here, let's pull this one up. So this is another Genesis TO, again, not named in Alan's document whatsoever. They had no horse in this. I want to see what he says. So Crimson Blur is standing up for Ken as a character witness for how they've worked together. To add on to this, I'd like to cite a situation that happened between Genesis and BTS that Ken could have completely thrashed this over privately and publicly, but didn't really even get mad or remotely raise his voice. So this is them defending Ken in what was a very aggressive stance from Alan against Ken. So this isn't him so much talking about Alan here, it's more just defending Ken. Which pokes holes in Alan's interpretation of Ken, posting him as some kind of boogeyman in the scene. Why is there always so much drama in the Smash community? Isn't it crazy? It's so fucking sad, too. Because it's all so easily avoidable. It all could have just been so simple. Didn't have to get messy at all. Does anyone have evidence of the communication with Nintendo itself, or is it just between the tournament organizers? Actually, what has Nintendo done during this whole thing? Yeah. So Smash World Tour does have the emails that transpired between them. Of course, they don't have the verbal communications. That, again, is going to fall into hearsay. But they're the only ones that actually have legitimate evidence of what Nintendo has done and what they have said. Everything else is just hearsay. And in Alan's statement, he makes a blatantly false claim that was provably wrong and proven wrong very quickly about it being a gambit that may have never even wanted to happen, the hotel not even being booked. That is wrong. You cannot make a big lie like this in a statement where you're supposed to be very much a believable narrator, a trustworthy narrator. This lie is a huge red flag for the actual authenticity of the rest. It's such a fucking shame, man. Ugh. At the end of the day, I still think the biggest villain is Nintendo themselves. Had they just been more receptive to working with the community a decade ago, we would have never been in this position to begin with. It would have never happened. There would be no power trips. There would be no hearsay, no he said, she said shit, no potential misinterpretations, no bad blood. Everyone would be on the same goddamn page. It would have been so fucking simple. Thanks to the resub rat sack. Look at Slime's pin, or look at Slime's retweet. Let me see. Where? I don't see anything there that's pertinent to this. Yeah, I'm on Slime's Twitter. I don't see anything that's even about this. Oh, I didn't. I don't know how I didn't see that. It was right under the pinned tweet. Here, I'll just pull it up on screen. I spent over 2 years working with Ken in an office, never heard him yell or be out of line in even our biggest disagreements. Ken actually taught me a lot about being level-headed and evaluating tough situations with care, especially in meetings / BD initiatives. The amount of people coming out to defend Ken's character speaks volumes. Alan seems to be the only one with this view of Ken. No one else has come forward to corroborate Ken being an asshole. So that pokes doubt in that entire section. Because again, it's all just hearsay. Even them, like the character witness statements are just them giving their own anecdotal proof. But there's so many of them, whereas Alan is just one. And for what it's worth, I have also talked to Ken. Since having Moist Esports and being more intertwined with the community, I have also talked to Ken, and I have nothing but a positive experience with him as well, but I don't know him to the same level as everyone else. As someone coming from the Dota community, Ken has been nothing but professional during his time. Yeah, that sounds about right. Thanks to Risa Boiler, Yukiwi, and the Prime Gentleman. More and more OG members of the community come out to talk about Alan being a snake, makes it harder and harder to believe a word he says. Exactly. At the end of the day, it is all hearsay, but with so many people all saying similar things about their interaction with Alan, and so many people coming together on Ken's side about how his interpretation in Alan's document makes no sense based on the years they've spent working with Ken, I really think that speaks a lot. Kadoran just posted something. What'd Kadoran say? I can corroborate this claim, and this is with Bobak's statement.
Signing me, what would get the ground rolling to have me sponsored under Panda? And straight up, what Dr. Allen told me was like, yeah, the thing is that I don't really believe in Melee.
Weird thing to say. When they have Melee players, Melee, one of the best in the world.
The numbers just aren't there. The numbers just aren't there. I believe in Ultimate more because, there's all these YouTube numbers, and then you look at Melee's YouTube numbers, and it's just not there. And, if I were to sign someone like you, it's I would maybe give you $500 a month.
Jesus Christ. Again, it's just hearsay with verbal conversations, but that is yet another one against Allen, and this is to corroborate Bobak's claim about him not caring about caring about Melee. This is him corroborating what Bobak was saying with his interaction. These are totally unrelated people, by the way. Kadoran has nothing to do with Bobak. Bobak is a TO for Genesis. Yeah, I mean, this is a lot. It's a lot. Thanks to the resub Falma. Hey, Rickles. No, of course, man. This is something I'm very passionate about. Without the Smash community, there wouldn't have been a Moist Esports. Like, it's a community that I'm very much deeply passionate about. Don't even know what Genesis is besides Alan angered them. Well, Alan didn't anger them though. Like, Alan didn't even mention Genesis. And Genesis is huge. You don't know Genesis? Like, even outside of Smash, Genesis is just fucking massive. For fighting games. I guess if you're not in the FGC, you won't care. But with their interaction, they just felt so strongly that they wanted to come forward to talk about it. They didn't have to say anything. Like, Alan didn't mention them, didn't throw any kind of shade or shit, take a stinky little dump on him or anything. They just felt so strongly about him being untruthful in his statement that they wanted to publicize it. He did? Where? When did he mention Genesis? Other than when they didn't sign. Oh, this is like when he was talking about their positive interactions. Yeah, it wasn't anything negative about Genesis. Yeah. And then they mentioned him for a licensed event without being part of Panda Cup. See? Oh, that was your point. He made them hate them so much that they came out against him, even with Alan being nice in his statement to them. That is a good point, I suppose, yeah. Alan used them as an example of a positive interaction, yet Genesis did not have a positive interaction with him. That's not how they viewed it. That is a fair point. Man, fuck me. The question now is, does Nintendo go full scorched earth on licensed events? Unlicensed events. I fucking hope not. In the most ideal of circumstances, this whole situation is a big scar on the Smash community, but it heals with Nintendo taking the first step saying, this is a mess. Boys, we done made a big ol' shit stain on these britches. But it has shown us the passion of the community and we want to work closely with other organizers. I don't see that happening. I certainly don't see it happening. But that would be the absolute optimal outcome. Thanks to the bit snert. Also, I just heard Tetra try and open the bedroom door, so I'm assuming she needs to go out. I'm gonna go take Tetra out real quick. I'll be right back. Oh, that was so unlucky on that timing, Bruce. Oh, fuck me. Thank you for the raid. I hope you had a great stream. I'm sorry. I did take Tetra out. Thanks to resub, Cat, and Super Goose, and Bug. Oh, you're still here, thank God. Thank you for that, man. Appreciate the raid. I hope you had a great stream. How long were you gone? I was only gone like 4 minutes. Tetra just had to go out. Is it Prime Koi? What's that, Peanuts? Is that another statement? Is it Prime Lucas? And Phantom? A tweet from the second Beyond the Summit member from the call between Alan and Ken. Let's see. Okay, so this is from someone that was in that call, that now infamous call in Alan's statement. The way I see it, Alan called us and tried to insinuate that he was slam dunk going to get all the TOs on Panda Cup and that Nintendo was requiring streams be on Panda Cup channels because that way they could have greater degree of control over the content therein. We pushed back, had existing broadcasting agreements with them, and any agreement short of them buying us out of the agreements would be directly damaging to us. 3 days later, Alan says Nintendo wants to talk to us about the legality of tournament broadcasts on our channel. So this was the other person in there? Oh. Real evidence. Actual real evidence for the first fucking time tonight. Like, this is proof that this guy is who he claims to be and was in this call at the very least. Of course, what was said on the call could very much be a lie, but I noticed my webcam's blocking it there. But that's good. That's a good start. We have an actual receipt here to prove that this guy was on this call and he is corroborating what now 2 people are saying. Right now, Alan is the only one amongst an entire community of TOs that are all coming out at the same time, even TOs that weren't mentioned in Alan's documents coming out to go against him. Even when they didn't have to, even when they had no horse in the race, they just all had a negative experience. This guy was on the call and is claiming that the threat of like getting Nintendo involved was a real thing that happened. That is now 2 people making the exact same claim from the same call. Like that feels pretty substantial. When it's hearsay on both sides, like that seems important. There's more that cheat talked about. This, by the way, is something Nintendo walked back immediately. When Alan talks about concessions he made to the Panda Cup tournaments on this shit, it comes after Nintendo had calls with them, had calls with all your favorite tournaments and realized he was scaring the ever-loving fuck out of them. That is an interesting statement because that ties into something Smash World Tours briefly mentioned in their statement that Nintendo was having an internal investigation against Alan's behavior. That checks out with a statement made by Smash World Tour's initial statement. There's the Prime Polo Man and the resub Connor. Next to the Prime Neptune. A lot to mentally keep track of. I know. It's actually really not. There's only one perspective that has no support behind it in terms of other people in the scene, and that's Alan's. Alan released his statement, and every TO in the scene right now, even ones not associated with the named ones in Alan's statement, have come out against him, talking about how manipulative and untrustworthy he was in their conversations with him being very bad. Like, everyone is against Alan, at least in this scene. Like the TOs, the tournament organizers, none of them are agreeing with anything Alan has said at all. Deer, a TO working with both Panda and VGBC, confirmed Alan threatened to shut down Smash World Tour last year. Holy shit. Jesus Christ. How... Literally every tournament organizer in all of Smash right now is coming out against Alan after his statement. He blew the floodgate open. I can corroborate that at Summit in November 21, I was verbatim told that Smash World Tour won't exist anymore, so being involved in both circuits was not something I'd have to worry about. And this is someone that has worked with both Panda and what was it, Panda and VGBC? Thanks the bits vegan. Yes, I know vegan. We talked to them about that the entire way. Was there evidence for anything besides responses on Twitter? As much as I want to believe the TOs, it's been hard to take anything at face value. Well, no, because it's all hearsay. Except for Mikey. Mikey's the only one right now that's posted a screenshot of him being in that call that was where the threat was made. Like, allegedly where the threat was made. He has confirmed he was in a call with them that is mentioned in all of the statements from Alan and Ken. But in Alan's statement, there is also no evidence of anything other than hearsay. The whole thing is built up on hearsay, except the initial statement from Smash World Tour, which has the actual facts from Nintendo. They have evidence from Nintendo, but everything else is hearsay. Did you see the Yeah, we already looked at Bobak's thread. Thanks for the 5 gift subs, Leos. Appreciate it, man. Just buy Panda shares and join both teams together. Yeah, I'll ask Lud if he wants to go 50-50 on buying Alan's shares, and then we'll be able to hopefully do something good with the Nintendo relationship. That would actually be unironically super fucking hype, I'm not gonna lie. Hey Connor, good to see you, man. You're loving this, aren't you? Actually, not at all. I think this is the worst thing that could have happened to the Smash scene. I couldn't imagine a more disastrous... Well, actually, I could. Another one of those, like, pedophile gates. But, like, aside from that, I couldn't imagine a second worse thing quite like this. Thanks to the bits, janitor. So this is also from Deer again. Someone that has worked with both Panda and VGBC. In the same meeting, he mentioned one day hoping to buy/own Battle of BC and the events on the Cup. That's what triggered me to be wary of him from the jump. I think Bobak has captured things well. Bobak being the Genesis TO. Thanks to the resub, Noah. When does God Slap 2 start selling? Hey, fuck yeah, I'm glad to hear that you're so hyped. 12 hours from now it goes up. Deadass, you could save Smash by buying the Panda shares and using Nintendo Bridge for good. That, I mean, again, that'd be very expensive, on like, no doubt about that, and there's no telling if Panda or if Nintendo wants to even honor that relationship going forward. Because after all this, I think there's a very real chance they back out entirely and never come back. Which is why I think this whole situation is fucking terrible. Is it tier 1 glue and the resub Velmond? I don't think white people think Nintendo are going to get involved. There's been more intense shit like the pedo stuff that they looked over. Bro, Nintendo is like a family branded entertainment company. They're not going to come take a hardline stance about like pedophiles that play their games. That just shines a light on it and it'd be worse for them. I never expected them to do anything. Anyone that did was out of their mind. I mean, maybe I toyed around with the idea like, man, this is so big Nintendo might get involved, but in the back of our heads, I'm sure we all knew they wouldn't. Yeah, I already watched Kadoran's clip. Nintendo might not think about ever being partners after this. Again, that's what I've been saying. That's what I'm most concerned with. Only company that wants people to stop playing their games. I know. I know. Nintendo partnerships has just been, hey, let us run ads at your tournament. They've never been invested into the Smash. They've never invested into Smash at all competitively, and that's fine. Just having their blessing, knowing that they won't get shut down, is actually just good enough. It'd be great if they put money behind it, or production behind it, or a team behind it, but that's not even necessary. Just having their blessing, like, we are official partners. You're not getting shut down. Like, this is fucking good enough. He's a prime clown. New slime tweet. Okay. A week later, I had to walk the verbal offer back and say we're going with VGBC. We had discussions where Ken frankly but cordially said he was very disappointed and didn't like how negotiation was handled. That Ken is completely at odds with the Ken and Allen statement. Okay, so Slime is replying to TO from BT. Genesis. This was the head TO for Genesis. And he was coming out to defend Ken's character, saying that what Alan's saying about Ken makes no sense with the Ken that I've talked to. Even in the most heated of times, Ken had never done anything quite even close to the level that Alan said. And now this is Slime saying the same thing. I was in these meetings and can confirm we were bummed about the walk back, but didn't throw a hissy fit and ended up working with Genesis the next year. Do you think Alan wasn't expecting the people Do you think Alan wasn't expecting people to tear this essay apart? I don't know what he was expecting. I really don't. It's again, if he put any level of real thought into it, he would not have published this. I think you can pick apart this however you want. At the end of the day, there's no evidence, like even from everyone coming forward to defend the character of other people, there isn't evidence to corroborate that other than their own experience. Which there is an overwhelming amount of support for Ken, whom Alan calls out directly as being a piece of shit or the boogeyman doing all these horrible things. Everyone has come out to defend Ken. No one said anything quite like Alan or even close about Ken. And there's also been an overwhelming flood of people to come out to shit on Alan. People that weren't even named in this statement. People that Alan actually named as a positive experience have come out and said, actually, Alan was a terrible experience for us. We don't like him. He's a snake. But again, it's all hearsay. But there is one factually wrong statement that he makes that is a blatantly incorrect lie. And I just don't think that should be overlooked. You can feel however you want to feel about his claims and whatever about VGBC and BTS. That's all totally fine, because it's going to be up to you as an individual and how you feel about it. But he makes one just blatantly wrong lie about it not being booked, it never having existed, about how he believed that the Smash World Tour was a gambit that they may not have even planned on actually doing. He then says that they didn't have a block. That is wrong. You can go on the Marriott's website right now, which we already did, and they have an entire block called Smash World Tour Fans and Friends. It's just a lie. Was his other claim backed up by evidence? No, there is no evidence for his claims. It is just hearsay. His screenshots are him confirming, like, conversations he's had. Like, oh, they didn't join us. They didn't join us this time. We gave them a carrot. They said no, they don't want to join. Like he's showing screenshots where he doesn't freak out or anything, but that's not evidence to disprove anything that was been talked about. Don't forget he doesn't know LD apparently. That is another thing that is just blatantly, I can't even call it blatantly a lie because it's so ridiculous. This just had to be some kind of brain fart. This is another thing in his statement that is just completely unbelievable that it would even be in here. He says he doesn't know who LD is, yet praises Beyond the Summit, which is LD's company, as one of the fucking key members of BTS since the beginning. He would know who LD is. I don't think the hotel is evidence that could be created by fans for rooms. No, like the block is there though. Like on the Marriott's site, it is booking through them for the Smash World Tour event. Can you start that as a normal person? Because not only that, but all of the travel was booked and stipend for like players and stuff. But like on the actual Marriott, you can actually book a room for that event. For the fans and friends bundle. I don't know how that works. I don't know if you can do that as an individual. That seems like something only the hotel would be able to do. That seems very dangerous if you give people the power to make their own bookings on their fucking hotel. Here is yet another... What is this? Oh no, this is just someone in the space. This is not a TO. This is again just another name to add to the pile of people talking about and corroborating statements against Allen. Since one of the TOs has mentioned it publicly now, I've heard from nearly every major TO say that Allen talked about wanting to buy out the rights to their tournament brand. His goal was to own the entire ecosystem. This is like the fucking 10th or 15th TO saying the exact same thing. He's a prime Caleb. He's a prime Carson and the Bits Plutonian. Is this lore for Warhammer Dark Tide? Yeah. I work in hotels. You have to go through the group desk department to make those kind of bookings. So it is like an official booking? Well, hold on, what was your name? Jax. So, like, the Smash World Tour fans... Here, let me just pull it up. It'll be much easier. Oh my god, I've opened so many fucking tabs. Okay, I don't feel like strolling that far back. On the site for the Marriott, it was the Smash World Tour fans and family booking. Like that was where you were booking at that Marriott for that event, and then you book your rooms under it. Is that something that needed to go through the hotel officially as like, yes, we have this event and here's how you book it? Or is that something that anyone could have set up? Oh, it was fans and friends? I thought it was fans and family. Oh, here. Hold on, Jax. This. Thanks for the link, Silver. Yeah, this is what it is on the site, on the Marriott, for this event. Wait, why is it saying temporarily unable to display the information? You give me a dead link? No, it's not working for me. It's saying it can't display it. I'd already pulled it up once on stream, so it's in the VOD. Voice crack. It's in the VOD regardless. But anyway, Jax, everything I described, is that something that anyone can do, like on the official Marriott site, or does that have to be from the hotel with the event booked? I didn't see what you said. Yes, you'd have to talk to them on the phone, block a certain amount of rooms at a specific price point for the people coming in. It takes time and a bunch of paperwork. Okay, that makes sense. That's how I thought it would be. But chat seemed to think anyone could do it. I just wanted a little more confirmation. Of course, I can't confirm you actually work at a hotel. But, I mean, it's better than just saying, no, anyone can make it a booking on Marriott under any name. That seems weird. Like booking an event at the Marriott under any name. Plus, it also seems like a lot of work to have done in less than an hour. Thanks to the bits, Bob. Link works now. I'm already over it. I don't need to pull it up. I got rejected twice. I already pulled it up once. Maybe he didn't lie. He was just misinformed. That's not like, but you can't be here. One of your first statements being a provable lie immediately cast doubt on the rest of your claims. It's not really an excuse. It says it was paid and booked back in November, so it wasn't even made recently. Huge. He's a prime vab. We really would love to know when you're finishing Devil Me. Oh, is Jackson streaming? I'm down to finish it soon. Like, can do it tomorrow. Oh, Jackson's not even streaming. Where did you... Why are you saying we? Yeah, I'm down to finish it soon. We. Why hasn't anything been done about Alan till now? Did Nintendo know about this and just not care? Well, I can tell you why they wouldn't do anything about it. Like, Ken even alludes to it here. It's just a disaster for the scene. Had all of this information about Alan come out, that's terrible for everybody. It's bad for the whole scene. You don't want that. Like I said, the Smash orgs have always had this, at least as I understand it, this you succeed, we succeed mentality, because it's all grassroots. When one is succeeding, it is helpful for all the other ones around it. So you don't want to see one crash and burn because that hurts everybody around you. So of course they wouldn't want to come forward with some kind of like expose on Alan and him overstepping his line. He's a give sub Carson. Main stage TOs ate well because of this though. Viewership was the same, man. The viewership was still at 40 to 50, well 40 to 60k ballpark, which is great viewership. But yeah, they got a lot more people to go to it that canceled Panda. That is true. Smash viewership has been very consistent recently, and it's only been going up steadily. Pretty much every major averages between 30 to 50k. In all of the ones I've watched over the last year. Shit. The most recent summit, I think it was, went up to like 80. He's a tier 1 James. Genesis and Evo used to hit 100k before COVID. Yeah, that makes sense. Thanks to Prime. Chorpug. Thanks, Resub Spooky. No, you think Technical's banned Nairo shit is a part of this? He was able to get into a VGBC event because they had no security, super irresponsible to not be checking people as they come in. He would have been able to do that at any esports event ever. All he did was just go in a disguise. What are they going to do? Pull the hat off him and check? Like, I certainly don't think that was at any point a reason for health and safety concerns from Nintendo. I've been to quite a few esports events, and it's usually they check your bag, they check your ID. Do you have a ticket? All good on all this? Go right in. Like, it's not like he was on the FBI's most wanted list or anything. He's just, at the end of the day, he is just a guy they didn't really want there, but went anyway. Like, it's not like the security's gonna have, like, a fucking wanted poster behind him with, like, a bounty. And they just somehow made a huge mistake by letting him in. That absolutely had nothing to do with the health and safety concerns. This is a tweet from a Panda employee. Is this a new one? Because we had one from earlier. Okay, let's bring this one in. Last Friday, Panda had an internal town hall meeting where Alan spoke to us, and many of us had the chance to speak in the call and ask questions. I urged Alan to speak the truth and to even consider a public third-party moderated video call with VGBC and or BTS to hash things out. It's a fair suggestion. Enjoyed my journey with Panda and Panda Cup over the years. Pretty sure everyone at Panda did. Oh, he's just talking about his time there. This isn't for or against Alan. Thanks to the resub, Greasy. It seems like a lot of people just want to talk. Yeah, it feels like since all of this has happened and the lid's already been blown wide open, everyone's coming forward with their experience with Alan. And right now, every single one of them has been negative. And each one is corroborating the others, even from unrelated TOs. They're all sharing extremely similar experiences negatively about Alan. So far, there hasn't been any positive accounts of his character. His wife just tweeted. Yeah, I already went through the Bobak thread. Supporting is a death sentence? No, not really. Like I saw, I think it was Coney. Coney was like, I never really had any reason to believe Alan was anything other than nice. I had a good experience with him. That said, you know, terrible situation, and then talked about all of the people coming forward with their horrible accounts of him. Like, there's of course going to be people that had good experiences with him. There absolutely will be. But those people are not the TOs, the people that he was directly communicating with in like a business capacity. Here's the prime bread in Cinta. Is the resub panic attack? Yeah, I already watched the Kadoran clip. I'm pretty sure I've seen everything now. It's fucking 2:30 a.m. I don't think there's gonna be any more like big statements coming out. But yeah, this was a lot to take in. This was a pretty wild development here. Is the 2 gift subs insufferable? Emphasize not to attack the players or staff. Oh, I actually haven't seen any of that happening. I know Alan mentions it, like the safety of the staff and everything, but I haven't seen any of that. I don't doubt that it exists because that shit always happens with internet drama. But from everything I've seen, the community's been like really understanding of like staff positions and players. But maybe I've just not seen it. But yeah, I think that should always go without saying. I'm staying because I need a job and love my coworkers. Well, yeah, of course, man. Yeah. Are you glad you started the esports Moist before this shit? I'm glad I started in general, yeah. I mean, this has no effect on that. It's bad for the whole scene, but it has nothing to do with, like, esports orgs. You see One Punch Man will be animated by Mappa? That was fake. We looked that up earlier today. That leak was fake. Unless, of course, that's just a red herring. But when we looked it up, it was fake. Car Chase on ABC. I can't watch Car Chases live. Potential TOS with people getting hurt. Everyone else does it. Yeah, and Hassan just got banned for doing what everyone else did with watching a Ye interview, so I'm not taking any chances. I love police chases, but I'm not watching one live. I'll watch a police chase after the fact. Exhibit's vegan. No, what the fuck is a reverse high beam? Like the tail lights have high beams? That's so obnoxious. Oh, thanks for the 10 gift subs, champ. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for that. Thanks for the resub, Ian. It's the same commentator from the last chase too. Oh my god, that's so fucking hype. Holy shit. I have a theory. We're getting so many police chases in such a short amount of time. I think that last one that went viral with the Grand Theft Auto stealing cars and going crazy, I think they saw the ratings and the response from that, and now, what was that? The SoCal Police Department? I think it was SoCal. Now they're just getting people hopped up, like, they're leaving car doors open, maybe with the keys in the ignition, kind of enticing them as they have the chopper around the area, just waiting, just fucking waiting. Just keep farming content out of it. Thanks, the Prime, Chloe. Isn't that just called a bait car? Oh, true. Yeah, I guess they used to have that bait car shit. Yeah, but they'd have the bait car and the cops nearby ready to like arrest them. I'm saying they're doing bait cars with a chopper ahead to film them, and then maybe they'll call the police. Like, all right, hey, he took it. Go, go, go. But don't chase him too much. We want this to last. Thanks a Prime 40 and AJ. And the Prime Ducket. You ever gotten into someone else's car on accident? No, man, I can't say I have. Thanks for the gift sub, Gecko. Did you see the police chase last night where the guy drove into the Angels Stadium? What? Was that the 3-hour chase? Ooh, thank you for the 10 gift subs, Morgoth. Thank you for that. Really appreciate it. And the resub waffle. No, this is just a solo guy. Oh, never mind. This is the one with the clown car with like 6 people coming out. When did he drive into Angel Stadium?
Into the stadium. Going into the stadium, bottoming out as he makes his way through the ticket booths at Angel Stadium.
Okay, what the fuck? I didn't know it was like that.
To the stadium. Going into the stadium, bottoming out as he makes his way through the ticket booths at Angel Stadium. Check this guy out.
Yeah, this is the same guy.
Now very dark in that parking lot. Fortunately, he's got his headlights on, but you saw he bottomed out there, sparks flying as he fled through the ticket booth, and he is now well into the parking lot, about to go around Angel Stadium. Coming around home.
Why, though?
Continuing south.
What was the plan?
Lot, and what are we going to do here? Some donuts in the parking lot?
Thanks, resub Tiger Bay.
This just got mighty strange.
Mighty strange indeed.
Visiting all of Southern California's landmark attractions this evening as he now does circles in the parking lot of Angel Stadium, looking for an exit, and that appears to be what he may have found.
How the fuck? That was like the perfect opportunity just to spike trap the exit. They could have ended it right there. Big House tweeted. Oh, Big House TO tweeted. Okay, so this is the first TO that had a positive experience so far working. Well, he doesn't name Alan. He's saying with with Panda. Okay. Weird because that chase was muted on YouTube. Was it really? That's a shame. Vitio tweeted, "Can confirm Alan is a dick." One of them did. Genesis Tio Bobak, his literal first statement is, "Alan is a snake." Every time he talked, all I heard was the snake talk from Harry Potter. Like, he literally did just that. And he was completely unassociated with everything that's unfolded. He's the TO for Genesis. This is the first, like, positive... Well, it's not positive for Alan. It's positive with Panda. And so far, it's all been Alan, not Panda. This would have... If he had a good experience with Alan, he should have said Alan instead of Panda. Because no one's really questioning Panda support. It seems like they had a really good set of people, like a good team. It was just Alan that everyone had a problem with. Yeah, I know, Ray. Alan is divesting his shares. So he's not going to have any say or any control over Panda going forward. Yeah. They made that clear. Well, he made that clear. Which is definitely the right call if Panda's to have a future in the scene. Because earning that trust back from the community is going to be a real uphill battle. Thanks to the bits, Polar. Did Alan quit the FGC in general? It seems that way, yeah. But he also started by saying, like, he doesn't care or whatever. I don't know, it was a pretty aggressive opening, or somewhere.